What if every fly on Earth disappeared tomorrow? No more buzzing in your room. No more insects circling your food. No more annoying flies hitting your window at 2 a.m. At first, that sounds amazing. But what if I told you that without flies, entire ecosystems would begin collapsing? Forests would slowly rot in silence. Millions of dead animals would pile up across the planet. Food chains would break, and nature itself would begin to suffocate. Because as disgusting as they seem, flies are secretly some of the most important creatures on Earth. Most people think flies are useless, tiny pests that exist only to annoy humans. We swat them away without a second thought. But nature doesn't create anything without a reason. And flies? They are part of a system so important that life as we know it depends on them. Right now, while you're watching this video, millions of flies are working non-stop around the planet, cleaning, recycling, feeding ecosystems, keeping nature alive in ways most people never notice. Without them, the world would become unrecognizable. See, one of the biggest jobs flies perform is something almost no one wants to think about: death. Every day, millions of animals die in forests, oceans, fields, and cities. And if nothing removed those bodies, Earth would quickly become covered in decay. That's where flies come in. The moment an animal dies, flies arrive within minutes. To us, it looks horrifying. But in nature, it's essential. Flies and their larvae break down dead organisms incredibly fast, returning nutrients back into the soil. Without that process, nutrients would stop cycling through ecosystems. Plants would struggle. Animals would suffer. Entire environments would slowly weaken. In a strange way, flies help Earth breathe. But decomposition is only one piece of the story, because flies are also pollinators. When people think about pollination, they imagine bees. But thousands of plant species actually depend on flies to survive. Some flowers even evolved specifically to attract them. And unlike bees, many flies can survive in colder temperatures and harsher climates. In certain regions of the world, they are among the most important pollinators in existence. No flies? Some plants disappear. Then insects disappear. Then birds. Then larger predators. That's the terrifying thing about ecosystems. Remove one small creature, and the domino effect begins. But flies don't just help plants. They are food for countless animals. Birds, frogs, spiders, fish, lizards. Entire species survive because flies exist in huge numbers. To humans, a fly seems insignificant, but to many animals, flies are survival itself. And then there's something even stranger. Flies help save human lives too. In hospitals, scientists sometimes use fly larvae, maggots, to clean infected wounds. As disturbing as that sounds, these larvae eat dead tissue while leaving healthy tissue untouched. They can stop dangerous infections, sometimes even prevent amputations. Something most people consider disgusting can literally save a person's life. And beyond medicine, flies have helped scientists understand genetics, diseases, and even how living organisms evolve. For decades, researchers have studied fruit flies because their biology shares surprising similarities with ours. Some of humanity's biggest scientific discoveries started with tiny insects flying around laboratories. Which raises a strange question. If flies are so important, why do we hate them so much? Maybe because humans only value things that are beautiful, useful, pleasant, convenient. But nature doesn't work like that. Nature isn't designed for comfort, it's designed for balance. And sometimes, the creatures we fear or despise are the same creatures holding the entire system together. A fly doesn't care if humans think it's ugly. It continues doing its job anyway, quietly helping life continue on Earth every single day. But to truly understand how important flies are, you have to imagine a world without them. At first, nothing would seem different. People would celebrate. Restaurants would have fewer pests. Homes would feel cleaner. Summer evenings would become quieter. For a few weeks, humanity might even think the planet had improved. But nature keeps score silently. And slowly, the consequences would begin. Dead animals would remain in forests far longer than they should. The smell of decay would spread through ecosystems. Bacteria would multiply. Disease would begin spreading in places where natural decomposition once kept balance under control. Because flies are part of nature's cleanup crew, without them, death doesn't disappear, it stays. Then the food chain would begin to crack. Bird populations would decline. Amphibians would struggle to survive. Fish that depend on insect-rich waters would begin disappearing. And this is the terrifying part about ecosystems. They are connected in ways humans barely understand. A tiny insect dies, and years later, entire environments transform. Nature is built like a giant web. Every species pulls on another, and flies are tied to far more threads than most people realize. In some forests, flies are among the primary recyclers of nutrients. Without them, soil quality slowly declines. Plants receive fewer nutrients. Growth weakens. And when plants weaken, everything above them weakens too. Herbivores struggle. Predators lose prey. Migration patterns shift. One missing insect can create a chain reaction across continents. But there's another reason flies matter so much: speed. Nature depends on fast decomposition. Without rapid recycling of organic material, ecosystems become overloaded with waste. Imagine autumn leaves never properly breaking down. Dead insects piling up year after year. Animal remains staying in rivers and forests for months. The earth would slowly begin drowning in its own remains. Flies prevent that from happening every single day. And they do it quietly, without recognition, without protection, without humans even noticing. Ironically, some of the most important creatures on Earth are also the most hated. Maybe that says something about us. Humans are naturally drawn to beauty. Butterflies become symbols of nature. Bees are praised as heroes. Ladybugs are considered lucky. But flies? Flies get crushed. Even though many species of flies are just as important, and in some ecosystems even more important. It's strange how quickly humans decide what deserves respect, especially in nature. Because nature has no favorites. The forest does not care which animal humans think is cute. The ocean does not care what humans find disgusting. Every organism has a role. Every species fills a gap. And when enough gaps appear, systems collapse. Scientists have warned for years that insect populations around the world are declining. Not just flies, many insects, because of pesticides, habitat destruction, pollution, climate change. And while most people barely notice, ecosystems are already responding. Some bird populations are shrinking because their food sources are disappearing. Certain plants are struggling to reproduce. Natural cycles that existed for millions of years are beginning to change. The frightening part is that humans usually notice environmental collapse too late. Nature rarely collapses all at once. It happens slowly, quietly, almost invisibly, until one day the damage becomes impossible to ignore. And flies are part of that invisible system holding everything together. But maybe the most fascinating thing about flies is this. They evolved to survive almost everywhere: deserts, rainforests, mountains, cities. Some species can detect death from miles away. Others survive in freezing temperatures. Some complete their entire life cycle in just days. Flies are among the greatest survivors nature has ever created. And despite their tiny size, their impact is enormous. In many ways, flies represent something deeper about life on Earth. The planet does not survive because of giant, dramatic creatures alone, not because of lions, or whales, or humans. It survives because billions of small organisms constantly perform invisible jobs every second of every day. Tiny creatures maintain the balance of oceans. Tiny organisms create oxygen. Tiny insects recycle life itself. The world is not held together by what is most impressive. It is held together by what is most essential. And usually, the essential things go unnoticed. Maybe that's true beyond nature, too. Sometimes, the most important people are invisible. The quiet workers, the ignored individuals keeping systems alive behind the scenes. And maybe flies are a reminder of that reality, because despite humanity's disgust toward them, they continue serving the planet endlessly. No applause, no recognition, no understanding. Just millions of tiny lives carrying out one of the oldest jobs on Earth. Cleaning the world. Recycling death into life. Keeping ecosystems moving. And maybe that changes the way we should see them. Not as pointless pests, but as ancient engineers of nature. Necessary. Efficient. Essential. So the next time a fly lands near you, before immediately trying to kill it, remember this. That tiny creature belongs to a system older than humanity itself, a system that has kept Earth alive for millions of years. And without flies, the natural world we depend on might begin falling apart far faster than anyone expects.